Tears for the Tear God, Salt for the Salt Throne, and Gas the Leaf Tribe.
A phenomenon has developed recently in which the media and protesters and supporters of protesters and detractors of protesters have begun conflating protesters with rioters and protests with riots. Now, clearly, there is a difference. So, we have to ask, when does a protest become a riot, and when does a protester become a rioter? Now, the protesters and the supporters of the protesters aren't going to like the answer. So there you are, with your placard, your water, your snacks, ready to go out, hit the streets, peaceably assemble, and non-violently demonstrate in favor of your cause, in this case, George Floyd. Good for you. I literally wholeheartedly support you in this endeavor. The same way I wholeheartedly support people disagreeing with you. That is your right. That is their right. Everyone should be able to enjoy their rights peaceably and non-violently. This actually happened in Toronto at Queen's Park when people went to protest the coronavirus lockdowns, and Doug Ford called them a bunch of yahoos. Well, good for everyone. Everyone got to say their piece. That's what it is. There you are demonstrating, and in no small number, in fucking droves, literally thousands of people in the streets. This is a successful demonstration by any measure. But oh no, there it is, a few bad actors, dozens, perhaps hundreds of people, a very small percentage of the total. But they exist, they're there. They've started damaging property, vandalizing, perhaps assaulting people who disagree with them, starting fires, and now they're smashing windows and looting stores. These few bad actors threaten to hijack your entire protest and turn it into a riot. This is a problem that must be handled immediately. You, as a peaceful protester, have options. Option 1, physically intervene and stop these bad actors from hijacking your protest. They're threatening to steal it from you. I think you are well within your rights to use force to take it back. However, you're peaceably assembled. You're there for a non-violent demonstration. I understand this is not your bag, just outside your wheelhouse, not something you're going to do. Okay, that leads us to option 2. You can leave and notify the authorities. Make it very clear by your absence that you have nothing to do with that and you want that to stop. 3, throw out the protest and join the riot. Now, you don't have to physically damage property, vandalize, assault a person, start a fire, or loot. You just have to be there. Your presence, especially in these large numbers, in the thousands, you've become a peacefully protesting blade of grass in which the riotous, looting snakes can hide. You may not be abetting them willingly, but you are aiding them. And I'm sure you know that. It's like you've created a wall to help protect the few bad actors. It's funny how doesn't this start to sound like the exact mirror of why the protests are against the police? That the vast majority of them are good, and the handful of bad actors are protected by that blue wall, which is really more like the unions and probably not individual cops themselves. But there you are now, acting as the union member, protecting the bad actors. You're engaging in the exact same behavior that you were just peaceably assembled and non-violently demonstrating against when someone else does it. That's not justice. That's vengeance. Those who seek revenge should dig 2 graves. I imagine some of you aren't convinced, so here's a metaphor. Trigger warning. This shit about to get dark, like bismuth edgy. You decide to go peaceably assemble at the bar. Non-violently murder a few drinks. But oh no! A handful of bad actors have decided to gang rape a woman over on the pinball machine. This small percentage of bad actors have threatened to hijack your tavern and turn it into the scene of a gang rape. This is a problem that must be handled immediately. Now, you as a nonviolent drinker, you have options. Option 1. You can physically intervene. All right. Stop those bad actors from raping that woman. However, you're peaceably assembled at the bar. You're a non-violent drinker. I understand that's not your bag. It's outside your wheelhouse. It's not something you're going to do. That leads us to option 2. You can leave. And notify the authorities. Make it clear by your absence you have nothing to do with this and you want it to stop. Option 3. You can join the gang rape. Now, you don't need to physically assault that woman or even to cheer on the rapists. But by your presence, you may not be actively encouraging them, but you are aiding them. There is no fourth option. There is no fourth option in which you get to just sit at the bar and continue drinking and pretend that shit's not happening. No. Fucking no. There's no bystanders at a gang rape, and there's no protesters at a riot. Now, I actually know this story best from the Jodie Foster movie The Accused in 1988, maybe, and I think she won her Oscar for this. But I'm also aware that in the actual Cheryl Araujo case, the so-called bystanders were acquitted. Now, I think that's bullshit, considering that the 4 men were convicted of aggravated rape. And if you're a left-leaning social justice type, you probably think that the acquittals are bullshit as well. So there's something on which we can agree, and perhaps this was too much, too dark, too intense. Different intensities, maybe, but it's the same energy. The real problem we're going to have between me and the left-leaning social justice types is whether or not we're going to apply the same logic. Different intensities of the same energy, but the logic still applies. So, sorry protesters, you stopped protesting and you started taking part in riots. Relevant links to shit I said in the description. Maybe. I'm Marine Twin. Like, subscribe, or don't. It's a free country. At least it used to be.